Well, we are back here at the LeMieux National Dressage Championships. We've had a great day so far, Bobby. Loads of interesting interviews, and we've still got another good one to come as well.
Yes, we've still got Danny Morgan to join us later, but we are currently with the fantastic Isobel Wessels, List 5 judge. Oh.
5-star, I think you'll find. 5-star, international, superstar.
I love it. I want to be a List 5 judge.
That's it. Oh, you're close, not far away, though. So, just asking the first question. I'm going to get in there before you do. How did it all start, Isobel, going into the horses?
I didn't ride as a child. I did ballet, but I always wanted to ride. I was absolutely besotted with horses, and eventually I sort of had the odd lesson, and then it went from there to Porlock to the AI and working in Vienna with riders from the Spanish riding school, and then living all over the world and having a big influence by living and training in Germany. And so it just, I don't know, it was a bit like the snowball effect, I suppose. And then the snowball rolled back to England in the 80s, and I was inspired by Stephen to start the judging as well. So here I am.
And tell us about your experience being abroad and in Germany for that amount of time. Like, how different is it than being in the UK?
I think it's very different, but in the days, you know, because I'm about 100 years old, don't forget, in those days, there wasn't so much here in this country. So if you really wanted to find the way, you had to go abroad, really. So that's what I did, and, you know, just worked my way up and showed a lot of enthusiasm, and they sort of noticed in the end that I did all my stable work very quickly, so I was always there. And then in the end I got the warm-up rides, and so it went on, and I've been inspired by loads of top people who are still around today, which is lovely to see.
If you have just joined us, by the way, on Facebook Live, don't forget you can join in with the conversation. If there's any questions you want to ask Isobel, anything at all about dressage, she is the one to answer them. She'll make up an answer if she doesn't know it. So do get in touch and let us know in that comments box below. Isobel, I don't want to age you, even though you've already aged yourself, but you've been involved with the sport for a few years now.
Yes.
Tell us how it's changed over the years.
Well, I think there's been a revolution since Vallegro and Totilas. That, as a judge, that was the turning point, because suddenly we were giving 10s and 9s all over the place. We were seeing quality like we'd never seen before, riding like we'd never seen before. And from there, it's gone from the power to the harmony and the elegance with the power to where we are now. And I think it's just incredible, the journey. And of course now everybody has a watchful eye on what's happening in the arena, and horse welfare is a top priority. So there's nowhere to hide. Everybody has to do it really well for the right reasons in the right way, so we can give high marks, and it makes judging really exciting. You know, it's a time to be a judge. I think it's very, very exciting.
And you have been a judge for many years. You began as obviously an FEI candidate, and you've gone all the way up the levels. Can you just talk about how much work goes into that? How do you progress up through those levels?
It's a very long journey, and you never quite know if you've made it or not. In the early days, you know, you start, they push you to become a candidate, and you think, well, this is nice, but I've got no expectation. And then suddenly you're doing a 4-star exam, and they tell you, well, you know, if you don't pass this exam, it means they don't want you. And then you think, oh golly, it's personal. But then you realize, no, it's not at all. It's a lot of very passionate people just doing everything in such a way that the judging is good for the riders. We try to have everything in such a good way so that the riders get a consistent marking and direction in their training. So now they're more and more fussy, and I think, you know, I'm very involved with training and riding myself. Until I lost my horse last year, my Grand Prix horse, I was still competing in Grand Prix. So I think there are some of us who've been more experienced from that side, and others who are technically very, perhaps they don't have the experience in the arena, but they're very adept. They've learned how to judge. They're technically good, with all the electronic stuff we need now. Highly intelligent, motivated people. So you can come from lots of different sides now. It's much more open, and the testing system. I mean, I am an FEI course director as well, and I take, give these seminars and examine judges. It's tough. I don't know if the riders always appreciate that we have to put in a lot of time. We don't get paid in a highly professional way. It's just token payments to, basically covers the mobile bill or something, or the odd dinner with colleagues. So we're not doing it for any financial reason. It's purely because we're passionate, and it can be disappointing for some when they don't get to 5-star, but I think it's a very open field now. So it is exciting, and we're seeing from all over the world lots and lots of new judges coming, and I think it's good. It's a healthy situation.
Do you think we have enough young judges coming up? I'm an FEI judge in jumping. I'm mid-30s, and I think, as far as I know, the youngest in the world. In dressage, is the same true? Do you have any young judges coming through, or does it take that amount of years to get the experience?
I think now with all the fast-track systems that are available, especially in countries like Germany, historically they've had no fast-track. So it takes, they say, roughly 13 years to go from nothing to Grand Prix national judge.
Yeah. And
then you have to be a national Grand Prix judge for so many years before you could become an international judge. So that's a very, very long journey. But now they're talking about a fast track in Germany as well. We've had one in this country for many years, so we're ahead of the game there. Yeah,
which is always good to hear. And Bobby, judges are so important. They really sculpt our sport. Do you look when you're going to ride at who's judging?
I generally don't look who's judging, just for the fact that I don't want to get nervous with who's judging. But I think what we don't, like you were saying, sometimes we've got to take a step back and think how difficult it is. The pressure that a judge is under, especially when you have some of the real big names coming down that centre line towards you, must be really sometimes a little bit intimidating.
I don't think it's intimidating. I think it's exciting and motivating. I still get butterflies, when I'm judging a big championship and, Edward Gull or Charlotte or Isobel come down the centre line. You feel it in your tummy. It's exciting, and you want to give good marks. But then we don't judge in a personal way. We judge on rules. We're monitored. Everything we do is monitored, so you can't actually step out of line. It's around a system, a very, very well laid down system now. So if you stick to the rules, we all make mistakes. We all miss the odd thing. That's why at championships we have a judges supervisory panel, because they are able to correct, like if we missed a flying change that was late behind or something. But overall, you judge on those principles and rules that you have learned, redigested over many, many years. And once you sit down and start judging, there isn't any room for being intimidated or nervous. You're just excited. You're happy to be there. It's an honour to be there, and we all do our best. Whether it's like this year, I was involved with the Europeans for the ponies and the juniors, and it's like their Olympics. So it's really exciting. You see things. You have moments that you will never forget, and at this moment, the thing I will never forget is when I judged Lottie on Glamourdale doing the Grand Prix Special in Belgium earlier this year, and she halted in front of me for that final halt, and she's always so serious. She halted and she looked at me. Her face was just swathed in the most unbelievable joy. I will never forget her expression. I will take that with me forever. And it was that sort of test. My hair was standing on end, not this lot. You know, it was. So there are moments like that, and you know you got it right. There's that inner confidence that I was happy with my marks. She was happy. Everyone was happy. So those are the moments you remember as a judge.
It's a bit of a almost controversial question. People sometimes say they only got that mark because they are whatever big name, insert there. How do you make sure that's not the case? Is it tough when you're sitting there, you know, you've got that expectation?
I think we don't judge with expectation. I think we judge what we see. That's the essential answer to your question.
Yeah.
And the only difference, I would say, is that some riders are able to present things in such a way that you have to give them a positive mark. Maybe the quality of the horse isn't quite the same as a less experienced rider may be riding, but it's the way they are able to present the movement and the ease, the harmony, the exactness, the absolute control. It can blow you away as easily as a half pass, for instance, with huge range and lift. You know, that's always one of those movements where you sort of grab your seat and you think, oh, this is amazing. But if you watch somebody like Isobel Wessels come down the centre line and do that first pirouette, the change, and the second pirouette, it's mind-blowing how exact she can be and how controlled, and you just know what she's going to do. It's exactly 6 or 7 to the left one and 6 or 7 to the right one. There's every detail.
Yeah.
And you know, or you watch Carl do a zigzag, or Gareth doing his changes, or Charlotte with her half passes. Everyone has their little thing, but I don't think it's the rider as such. I think it's just that they are able to present in such a positive way.
I mean, obviously we've talked about getting all the way up through the judging levels. You're now at the very top. How difficult is it, one, to get there, and two, when you get there, there's still no guarantee that you end up going to an Olympic Games?
Well, no, that is true. It is very difficult. The journey is long. You can have good luck and bad luck along the way. That's life. I mean, that is life, isn't it? About every single thing. But I would say that in this country we have five-star judges, and they are all very relevant, current, and good.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for us because, you know, there is only an Olympic Games every 4 years.
Yeah.
If you take other countries, they only have one top 5-star judge. So that judge, we see that judge all the time because there is only one. And obviously for Olympics and Worlds, Europeans, you have to be a 5-star. So that, you know, you can't beat the numbers. That is the way it is. But it's because we have these really good judges here. Our standard of judging is very, very high. And, you know, the world likes to have us along. So, you know, we are lucky. One of us will always be there. But which one it will be I'm not saying it's the luck of the draw, because we don't have a draw, but it's dependent on many factors, and not everyone will get to do everything because there aren't enough jobs to go around.
And historically, it's always been a kind of male-led industry, if you like, judging. Do you think that's changing at all now?
Well, if you go to our seminars, you would say that it's female-led because there are far more ladies than gentlemen.
At the top levels as well?
Yes. Yeah. But I think in some countries like Germany, there's still a predominance of male judges overall. But certainly, well, in England, I'm the only female, aren't I? Yes.
Yeah.
I am. So, yeah, that's my only claim to fame, I think.
And it's lovely to hear how much passion you have. Like, it really excites me listening to you, because I can really tell the passion in your voice. Do you think a lot of that passion comes from the judging, from the pure fact that you know exactly what it's like to ride a Grand Prix test? You've had the hard days, the amazing days, so you can have a little bit of empathy towards the rider and what they're going through.
Oh, definitely. And I know what it feels like when you can't get your horse beyond X. I honestly know. I have been in an arena, you know, with people up to the roof where I couldn't get beyond X because the horse was spooked. It's hard. It takes a lot of guts, and you know, I was never a top rider, but I'm so grateful that I could do what I did. And I had a wonderful horse for my last horse. Now I have another one, a younger one, and I hope I can do this time perhaps a little bit different journey. But for me, I'm passionate about the horse. I love training, and I love to ride myself. I love to help people. I love to help other judges. And I never thought of myself as an educator, but I'm sort of being asked to do that quite a lot. And I must say I enjoy watching people flourish under good training. So that's another journey again.
And I very much think you are a top rider, so your comment there, I think it's absolutely. And I remember when I was younger watching you, and it was incredibly admiring. Is there any, like, a real memory of you coming down that centre line and you thought, yes, that was it, that was my best test I've done?
Well, I mean, it probably sounds a bit pathetic, but it was at our national championships when I won the advanced medium with Chagall. And, you know, he hadn't been... I don't want to say he wasn't difficult, but, you know, he was basically a giraffe. So, you know, it was not so easy to get the legs and the neck, all in the right place at the right moment. But he always gave me a wonderful feeling, and he was always nervous in the warming up, so I could never really warm him up properly. I just used to go around a bit and then go in, breathe a sigh of relief that there was no one in the arena with us. And this particular year when he won, he'd won the novice and elementary the previous year, and then this year he won the medium and the advanced medium. And this advanced medium test, it was just like magic. Everything just worked. And when I watched the test back, I could relive the feeling that he gave me, and that last medium trot down the centre line. Of course, I couldn't stand still and halt at the end because the crowds went mad and he went mad too. But I'll never forget that. And then when I was promoted to 5-star, they wrote about Andrew Gardner and myself on Euro Dressage, and they put a copy of that video on Euro. And I just thought, of all the ones she could have chosen, she chose one of my favourite tests. So, it was just one of those magical things. It was just an advanced medium, but I've always loved advanced medium 98 ever since that test. I love it, and I know your father wrote it.
Yes, he did. I was about to say.
I said they must never change that test. It's the best. And of course, he was such he loved extended trot. So the fact that there were, I don't know, 3 mediums and 2 extendeds or something, this was perfect.
Oh, that's lovely.
And we've got a question coming in on Facebook Live. Don't forget, you can ask Isobel anything you like. This one says, it's from Charmaine, and it says, I come from South Africa. I think Isobel spent a lot of time there. So what's her opinion on the standards in those faraway places?
They are all doing really well, and South Africa was represented now at the Worlds in Herning, which is great. And that they're there and very, very present. And it's a country where there are a lot of really passionate people and lots of German influence. When I lived in South Africa, I found because I'd learned German when I lived in Germany, I found my German came in very useful because all the horse people were basically German speaking. And I think there's a very good passion behind breeding, and people there, like the people in Australia and New Zealand, they have to make 10 times more effort than anyone else. And I think it shows. It really shows in their passion and the lengths they will go to to be there, to be at championships and take a year to compete in Europe. I mean, it's financially mind-boggling, isn't it, when you think about the costs, giving up whatever you've got at home, your business, your family, sacrifices. I think whatever part of the sport you're in, as a judge, rider, trainer, owner, breeder, there are huge sacrifices. And you sort of know about it and you do it willingly because you love the horse. So good for South Africa because they're talked about. Everyone says very positive things. All the judges who go there loved going there. And standards getting better and better.
If you wanted to compete at the very top, where's the dressage capital? Which country would you go to today if you wanted to be right up there at Grand Prix level?
Well, here, of course. What a silly question.
I think that's the right answer.
If it couldn't be here, it would have to be Germany, I think.
Yeah.
And Denmark. Denmark is coming on. Mm-hmm. Well, they've been there for a long time, of course, but I think they're biting on the heels of Germany, but we're the best.
That's a perfect answer.
It's a very good answer.
And we love being here at this venue, don't we, Bobby? It's fantastic. What do you think of it? We've been here a couple of years now.
I think it's great. I think the possibility to have 3 arenas going is good. And that one over there, it's a little bit out of the way, but I think perhaps that's quite nice for those classes that are there. And I'm interested to see how it all pans out. The standard has certainly been high, and they're enormous classes. I've just judged 40 in the Inter One, and they were neck and neck. There were loads between 68 and 70, loads. So the standard has gone up, and these facilities and all that British Dressage and Show Direct have done have obviously, with great sponsors like LeMieux, they've brought it to this level, which is fantastic, really good.
Have you ever been judged by Isobel? Do we need to get our own back for anything while we've got her here?
Many times.
Oh dear. No. We have to tell a story.
Oh no, which
There's
one?
a story.
Don't do this.
No, it's nothing. It's me. This will make you laugh. When you remember, I was riding at the Premier League at Wellington on Chagall in the Grand Prix, and I'd come without my tailcoat.
Right.
Oh.
And so Laura Tomlinson was there. She let me try hers, but the sleeves were too short or something, I don't know. Anyway, in the end, Bobby lent me her tailcoat. It fitted. So I went in.
It fitted back then.
Back then, okay.
And I went in as a young rider.
I remember it was brilliant as well.
It's the first time I've had a young rider badge on. I was very proud.
And was it lucky? Was it a lucky jacket?
Well, it wasn't my best Grand Prix ever, but
that wasn't the jacket's fault,
okay.
obviously.
No, that was my fault. Entirely my fault.
But no, I have been judged many times, and one of the reasons why we have Isobel up here, you're very informative, and when you judge, you always put really good comments that you learn from at the bottom, and I think that's always really important when you're judged by somebody, that you want to have the feedback, because at the end of the day, we will admit if we've made a mistake, we know when we've made the mistake, or when the judge would like to see a little bit more, so it's always great to have those comments just to direct us for next time when we come out.
Yeah, well, I always try to do that because, in the average class, like now, 40 horses, but how many prize winners are there? Not many. Top 10, and most of them don't get anything more than a rosette. So the least you can do is give them an informative sheet with some ideas or something. And it isn't just that end comment, it's as you go, the little details. And I mean, I was at sea for this Inter One, and you'd be amazed how many people don't find the centre line. We've had quarters out and middle on the centre line, not the hind feet on the centre line, and circles starting there and finishing 4 meters the other side of X, and it's quite interesting. It's so when they know that there's always someone at C. There might not always be someone at B or E, but there's always someone at C. Need to get that right. So always try to find things and little details about maybe a lack of elasticity or suppleness or the contact. You know, we had very many nice rides where there were no real mistakes, but the whole time the horse was a bit anxious in the contact or a little bit tilted or something, and you know, it's half a mark, half a mark, half a mark. So by mentioning it, you hope that the next time they can grab a few more points, basically.
Yeah, it's definitely, you definitely become aware when you haven't hit that centre line.
Yeah.
Well, we've been asking people, we've been interviewing all day, these two final questions. One of them's easy, one of them's hard. First one is the easy one.
Oh.
What's the best advice you've ever been given?
Oh, golly. No,
That's the easy one.
That's the easy one.
Yeah.
I suppose something like from my husband, just relax and enjoy it, because I do get too intense. I know I do, for myself, for my rider, for my horse, for just relax and enjoy it.
Before we get on to the difficult one, how do you do that? How do you find that you can kind of relax, take it easy before you go down the centre line?
Well, when I used to compete, I always did a visualization, and I would sit there and set myself off into my little place and visualize a lovely feeling, a nice picture, but it was the feeling. I tried to visualize what it sounds crazy, visualize what it would feel like. But if I have a nice feeling, I think I ride better. If I don't have a good feeling, I know I'm at my worst. So I tried to come from that angle.
And now for the hard question. Now, no one's really managed to answer this properly. You've been part of the sport, and you're a 5-star judge, so we expect you to be able to answer this.
I've used up all my 5 stars on the judging today.
What's the worst advice you've ever been given? No one can answer this.
Tighten the noseband.
There we go. Someone answered it.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
we go. Perfect. Well,
That's the worst advice anybody can ever give you. Just ride better.
There we go. She answered it. She did.
It was a good one as well.
5-star.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
what it
That's
was.
what we needed. Right, we've still got one more to come. Or two more. One more.
We've got Danny Morgan
One
next.
more.
Yeah, we've got Danny Morgan, which would be really interesting. And of course, you would have judged him many times.
Yes.
Isabel. So
Yeah.
it would be really nice to talk to him about his journey from young horses. And I think he's only really last 2 years done the Grand Prix as well. So still a little bit of a newbie at that level, actually. So it would be interesting.
He's a very talented rider, with a lot of natural feeling and works hard, I think.
Yeah, very hard. So it'd be nice to hear his story and how he
Yeah,
got to.
You'll have
here.
lots of fun talking to him, I'm sure. You've got lots of good stories.
Well, thank you again. It's been
That's
an
a
absolute
pleasure.
And for those watching online, don't forget, come back. And if you've missed any of the interviews, don't forget they're all available to watch on demand on the British Dressage Facebook as well. For now, though, enjoy what you're up to. We'll see you back here with Danny in about an hour's time.